Hi guys, today we're going to talk about our project that we're doing this week, which is the Levels Have It. I noticed some of you are having a little bit of difficulty, so I thought I would do a new video and kind of touch on this. Alright, the photo that I'm working on here, or that we will be working on here, is one that the color needs correcting. It's really faded, and the sun has just faded all the color out of it so that it doesn't look like it probably did to begin with. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and get this fixed. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our little magic wand, which is our effects, and we're going to scroll all the way down. And we're going to go to where it says levels, right here. So let's click our levels. And we're going to do this one a little bit different than when we adjust levels on anything else. We're going to do this by our color channels, and this should give us back the accurate colors for this photo, whether it's overly red or overly blue or green. This should correct this. So we're going to go about it like this. So the first thing we're going to do is where it says channels here, we're going to click it and we're going to go to red. And this is just going to affect the red channel. So we're going to, because of the way that our outputs are, here's our midtones, our lights, and our darks, we need to bring our darks all the way over to where this first bit is here. And we're going to bring the lights over until it hits the red as well, because they need to be in that red. Even though there's a little bit of spot of red here, we're not going to touch that. We want it to where it's most consistently red without spaces. So when we get that done, we'll go to our green channel, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go into green, and as you can see, it's starting to look a little better now. And we're going to go ahead and pull this one. And that one I may have to come back to because I'm not really sure on where I want that one yet. And then we're going to go to blue. And our blue, we're going to do the same thing. And this one I'm actually going to skip that because even though there's this long line here, there's a big gap here, and we don't want that gap. So I want to go back and look at this green channel now and decide whether I want it here or here. And I think it looks better more on this side of that, because the space here is not as big. So we're going to leave it just like that. So we're going to press apply, and now I want to show you what it looked like before as versus now. See how yellow it was there, and now it's not. It looks more natural there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go up here to our sliders up here, which is our basic effects. We're going to click that, and we want to go to exposure. Alright, so we can adjust our brightness here, which we could take that down just a tad if we wanted to, and even our shadows, and give it a little more depth. And I kind of like it like that. You could adjust this contrast if you want to get a little more contrast, but I don't want to overdo it. So I think somewhere right about there would make this look better. So I would push apply. So this is this photo. Before, after. Alright, so now that that photo is done, we're going to go and work, and I'm going to show you a couple of other photos and how you would adjust those. So we're going to open, and we don't want to save. And we're going to touch on this one. This is another one that I saw worked on, and I just want to touch on how you would adjust this. They said they had a really hard time with this one, and I can kind of see why, but we're going to go ahead and look at it anyway. So we're going to go to our magic wand over here, which is our effects, and we're going to scroll all the way down, which I'm already all the way down. And there's two ways to do this one. So the first way is we could use our levels, but I'm also going to show you another way, which is curves. So let's go ahead and click on curves. And I'm going to click kind of in the middle, and if I pull this down, and then I can even lighten up certain areas based on where I want it there. Based on the little markers that you put here, it will affect, I mean, I could take it all the way down and make it look really bad. But we want to do that. We're just trying to get this right back in here. And these are shadows, so they're supposed to be dark. So that looks about like it should. I can actually make the shadows a little darker, lighter, but we want them dark. So that looks pretty good there. And you could color that and work with that. Alright, so cancel. We're going to show you how to do it with levels now. So in our levels, we need to adjust our darks because our darks and our shadows are what's kind of off here. So we could start by going this way, or we could start adjusting our midtones, which our midtones is really, I think, what needs to be adjusted here to give it a better look. And we don't want to overdo it. So maybe about there. And you would be able to work with this. You can even apply this and even go back to curves here. See, that makes it brighter. If we wanted to pull some of the brightness out, some of those highlights, she's got a really bright white out spot that you could kind of work with to kind of get that out so that it would accept color. Too far. Color a little better. Not too far. I kind of want it here. But that's going to be really itchy. That's something that was done with the flash, the overexposure. But for the most part, this is how it would look. Let's go back and look at the original. And then now. And that would be your difference. And you could color this and you could work with this. All right, let's look at a different photo. This one. Here's another photo. This one's kind of different. It's got a little different hue to it. But if you take your midtones and you will pull this middle slider here, which is your midtones, and you will pull it. See, when it's down like this, let me cancel this so we can look at it again. You are missing all of these facial features here that should be there or may be there. Sometimes they're not always there. Depends on the photo. But if we pull it, we can actually see those features of his. And we want to be able to see those features. Those are his facial features. They were there in the original, so we want to be able to see them too. If we go too much, it looks very bad and pixelated. But we want to be able to see his features, so we kind of want to do it somewhere in the middle, maybe about like that. If you go up and you try to adjust the exposure, you might be able to do a little more. But see, once you start pulling those shadows in, it's going to block out his face again, and we don't really want that. So I would leave it about like that, personally. To color myself. So there to there, there to there. All right, let's look at another photo. But someone talk about this photo here and how they had trouble coloring the roses on this. And let me just start by saying this is a very dark photo to begin with. The roses are probably very different colors, like this one may be a black rose or a purple rose or pink, or even, and these may even be yellow. So it's not going to work exactly like the other photos. And that's what I mean when I say, depending upon the photo that you're working on, you will learn something new, because every photo is going to have a little bit something different or a different way to deal with things. If we look at levels on this one, and we pull that in, do you see that's extremely, extremely dark, and it would be very hard to color. And even that's a little better. But if we go up to our curves, let's see if I can pull this down a little bit and pull that down a little bit, so she has a little more texture to her face and it's not so whited out, and apply that. You could actually, I want to go up. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go black and white, push apply, push apply, right? Yeah, black and white, apply. And I could even go and color these now. Let me show you. Highlights. And even a deep red. Let's try a deep red. And it's not going to look real good, but you can kind of fade it to allow some color there on that one. Let's try a different color. There are different ways to do this. And that will allow it to take color. And I would actually lessen that just a hair, maybe even darken it a little bit. but it will allow it to actually take color now. So this one's a little bit different in the fact because her face is so whited out, it would be very difficult to get it to take color. And let me show you what I mean. As opposed to what it was before. It's actually taking the color now, and that's because there's a little noise there, and it gives it actually something for the color to adhere to. And this is not real neat. I'm just kind of showing you that it will actually take color now. So that one should help with that. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I wanted to show you. Again, we're going to touch on this. That's going to drive me insane. Hold on. I got to fix this. Hold on. That'll drive me crazy. Okay, sorry. And back to this. Okay, so on this one we were doing just like we did the first one. Remember what we did? We went to channels. We took each channel one by one. So we're going to go to our reds. And kind of adjust it. We're going to go to our greens. We're going to adjust it. We're going to go to our blue channel. And I might even go up on this one and go to exposure and kind of play with this a little bit, and play with the shadows a little bit to kind of bring that out. Okay, so let's look at the original and then we'll look at this one again. Original. So that's really what you're doing. You are trying to get it to look the best that you can possibly get. The shadows where they need to be, your darkness where they need to be, and your highlights where they are actually able to be colored. Because that will help you in the long run. You want your picture as clean as possible before you start. So if you start doing things that aren't ready, it's going to show. It's going to show that it's not ready. And this particular one I noticed, and this may have been part of it because the levels weren't actually correct on this one, but this is a learning process. It's something we all learn. So let me kind of adjust this for a second, and then I will show you what I saw. And this is just because I've used Picmonkey quite a bit. And where's it at? If you use spray tan, and I know some of you do, this is what you're going to run into. Okay, so you're going to do this, then you're going to do her skin. Alright, so let's get her skin done. But when you get done with this, and like I said, I'm not doing this perfect, I'm just kind of going over it as I go here. If you use spray tan, and then you go back, and you use blush, it shows. Especially on, it doesn't always show. Let me rephrase that. It does not always show. What it will show on is when, let me explain. Okay, I'm trying to find the best way. Like if this was real light. Look at these shadows in her hair. You see how that's just laying on top of it? Even on her skin. If you run into a face that has dark shadows and you use this blush boost, it is going to leave a haze, especially if it touches her hair or anything like that. Personally, I don't try to use that when I use this because it does leave that haze and I don't like it. It kind of blocks out some of the features. I go to highlight and I will pick a blush type color and I may add it on. And see, then I can adjust it if I want something a little darker. And then what I do is I take my fade really far down until I like it. And it kind of blends a little better. But like I said, that blush boost, it's going on anything with a shadow, it's going to stand out, and it's going to create like a haze. You can see it there. And even if you fade it, it's still going to have a bit of a haze there. If you don't fade it at all, it's going to look kind of clownish, kind of very rough and not blended very well. So I hope I answered some questions. If you still have questions or concerns, or you need some help with something, please don't hesitate to post in our group. We'll be happy to help you. Maybe I can make another tutorial to kind of help y'all along your way. Thank you.